Chosen one. You are not here by coincidence, and this moment did not arrive randomly. Heaven aligned your steps to this exact second because something has already begun moving in your favor. Before you felt the shift, alignment was quietly taking place. Doors were repositioning. Resources were being reassigned. What looked like stillness was actually preparation. Anointed one, you are standing at the threshold of a supernatural breakthrough, a divine transfer that will not come by striving but by surrender. Scripture reminds us that God gives rest to those He is working through. Listen closely. Your season is changing. Stay open. Stay still. What God is about to release requires alignment, not effort. Chosen one. There are seasons when alignment does not announce itself with noise, miracles, or instant relief. It begins quietly beneath the surface, while your outer world looks unchanged and your prayers feel unanswered. I know this place well. I remember seasons where nothing moved outwardly, yet inwardly everything was being rearranged. That is where you are now. What you called delay was heaven slowing you down on purpose, not to deny you, but to position you. Alignment began long before you felt the shift, and that is why this moment carries such weight. Anointed one. You were never falling behind. You were being withdrawn from unnecessary battles. Heaven saw how much you were carrying the pressure to perform, the silent anxiety around provision, the fear of missing your moment. And God did something radical. He removed you from the noise. He allowed stillness, not as punishment, but as protection. In that stillness, your discernment sharpened, your spirit recalibrated, and your identity detached from survival mode. I learned this the hard way when striving nearly cost me my peace. What felt like inactivity was actually God saving my strength for what was coming next. Chosen one, rest in the kingdom is not weakness. It is authority exercised in trust. When you stopped forcing outcomes, heaven began rearranging outcomes for you. Resources started moving quietly. Conversations happened without your involvement. Opportunities were delayed until your spirit could handle their weight. This is how divine alignment works. God does not rush blessings into hands that are still learning to breathe. He waits until your inner world can sustain what your outer world is about to receive. That is why this season felt heavy, yet sacred at the same time. Anointed one. I need you to hear this clearly. Heaven has already intervened. What you are about to experience is not random provision or sudden luck. It is a transfer that required preparation, not effort. I have watched God close doors that looked like answers, only to later realize they would have drained me. I have watched Him delay finances, only to later release them with peace instead of pressure. You are standing at the edge of that same pattern. This next breakthrough will arrive without panic, without scrambling, without you losing yourself to receive it. Chosen one, your mind has been under renovation. The fear, patterns, the scarcity thinking, the habit of over-explaining yourself to the world have been slowly dismantled. That is why certain relationships faded, certain plans stalled, and certain desires no longer fit. Alignment always begins by subtraction before multiplication. God removes what cannot travel with you. I know how uncomfortable that feels. Letting go always feels like loss until you realize it was making space. Space is essential for transfer. Overflow cannot land in clutter. Anointed one. This season has trained your spirit to listen rather than chase, to respond rather than react, to trust rather than control. These are not soft qualities. They are leadership qualities in the kingdom. Scripture reminds us that God restores the soul before He restores the path. You are being entrusted with more than provision. You are being entrusted with impact. That is why heaven slowed your pace and deepened your roots. When the shift becomes visible, it will not shake you. You will recognize it as familiar because it was forming in silence all along. Chosen one. As this part of the message closes, I want you to sit with this truth. You did not miss anything. You were being aligned for everything. The quiet was not absence, it was agreement between heaven and your future. And now that agreement is about to surface in ways you can no longer ignore, stay present, stay surrendered, and stay open, because what is about to move next will confirm that this alignment was never accidental. There is a moment in every divine process where heaven begins to respond not to your words, but to your posture. You may not have noticed it when it happened, but something shifted the day you stopped asking God to rush and instead asked Him to align. That was not resignation. That was maturity. That was the moment your spirit stopped negotiating and started trusting. I remember a season when my prayers grew quieter, not because I had less faith, but because I finally believed God heard me the first time. That is where authority begins, and that is where you are standing now. Anointed one alignment always precedes acceleration. Heaven never releases momentum into a soul that is still fragmented. That is why your inner world has been the primary focus. God has been untangling fear from faith, urgency from obedience, ambition from assignment. It felt slow, but it was precise. I have learned that God is never late, but He is exact. He will spend years refining your character to protect you from months of regret. You are not being delayed. You are being fortified for a level of provision and responsibility that requires peace, not panic. Chosen one. Let me speak directly to the area you have carried in silence. The financial pressure, the uncertainty, the questions you never voiced because you were trying to stay strong. Heaven saw it. Every night you calculated, worried, replanned, and still chose to believe. That faith was not wasted. There is a divine exchange happening now, where effort is giving way to orchestration. I have watched God replace struggle income with aligned provision. I have seen resources arrive through channels I never pursued. This is not magic. This is what happens when alignment completes its work. The transfer you are stepping into is not just monetary, it is energetic. It is spiritual. It is the transfer of burden, responsibility, and control out of your hands and into God's. That is why peace has been returning before answers. God often sends peace ahead of provision as confirmation that He is handling what you released. When peace arrives without explanation, it is a sign that heaven has already signed off on the outcome. That calm you feel is not emptiness, it is authority settling into place. Chosen one, you may have wondered why certain opportunities never materialized, even though they looked perfect on paper. Looking back, I can tell you that some of my biggest disappointments were actually rescues. God blocked what would have consumed me. He withheld what would have distracted me. Alignment is not about giving you everything you want. It is about giving you what will not cost you your soul. That is why this next season will feel different. It will not drain you to receive. It will not require compromise. It will arrive with clarity. Anointed one, your capacity has increased. You can hold more now without losing yourself. You can receive without guilt. You can lead without proving. That is not accidental. That is the fruit of quiet seasons where God taught you to breathe again. I know how humbling it is to realize that rest did more for you than striving ever did. But that is the upside-down wisdom of the kingdom. When you stopped chasing things, started finding you. When you stopped forcing alignment, took over. Chosen one. Heaven is not responding to desperation. Heaven is responding to surrender. That is why doors will open without effort, conversations will happen without your initiation, and provision will come without panic. You are entering a season where grace does the heavy lifting, not because you earned it, but because you are finally aligned enough to steward it. This is where faith becomes visible not through noise, but through flow. Anointed One. As we close this part, I want you to recognize where you truly are. You are not waiting for alignment. You are living inside it. The shift you thought would announce itself with fireworks began with silence, obedience, and rest. And now that alignment has completed, its hidden work momentum is gathering. Stay grounded, stay receptive, because what moves next will confirm that heaven was working the entire time, even when you thought nothing was happening. Chosen One. There is a sacred moment that arrives after alignment, but before manifestation, and this is where many people grow restless. It is the space where heaven has already decided, yet the earth has not fully responded. I want you to recognize this moment, because misreading it can cause you to step out of position too early. I have done that before. I felt the shift internally and assumed movement was required externally, only to realize later that God was asking me to remain still a little longer so the transfer could arrive cleanly without resistance or loss. Anointed One. This is where trust becomes embodied, not spoken. Your faith is no longer about declarations. It is about restraint. Heaven is testing whether you can hold peace while momentum quietly builds. That is why impatience has been surfacing lately. Not because something is wrong, but because something is close. Pressure often increases right before release, not to break you, but to confirm that you no longer operate from fear. God is watching how you respond when nothing seems urgent, yet everything is aligning. Chosen One, let me speak honestly from lived experience. When God prepares to elevate you, He first detoxes your relationship with urgency. If you still feel rushed, anxious, or frantic, elevation will harm you instead of bless you. That is why your life slowed down. That is why certain deadlines dissolved. God was rewiring your nervous system so that abundance would not feel like danger. The calm you are developing now is the container for what is coming next. Anointed One. There is also a separation happening, and this part can feel lonely. Alignment creates distance between you and people who thrived on your exhaustion. When you stop striving, some connections lose their grip. I have watched God remove voices that benefited from my overgiving. At first, it felt like loss. Later, it felt like freedom. You are not being isolated. You are being protected from interference during a sensitive transfer period. Not everyone is meant to witness what is forming in you. Chosen One. The financial aspect of this shift will arrive differently than you expect. It will not come with chaos or emotional spikes. It will come with steadiness. It may come through one decision, one conversation, one unexpected opening that feels simple but carries weight. Divine provision often feels understated at first because it does not need to convince you. It confirms itself. I have learned that when God releases provision aligned with peace, it multiplies without stress. That is the kind of transfer you are stepping into. Anointed One, do not underestimate the power of this quiet confidence forming inside you. You are no longer begging life to work. You are cooperating with heaven's timing. That shift changes everything. Scripture speaks of those who wait, renewing their strength, not losing it. Waiting in alignment does not drain you, it restores you, and restoration is what allows you to sustain promotion without collapse. God is not interested in giving you something you cannot keep. Chosen one. There is also a creative awakening happening. Ideas that once felt distant are starting to feel reachable, not because you are forcing them, but because your mind is finally clear enough to receive them. Alignment removes mental noise. It creates space for wisdom. Pay attention to the subtle insights arriving now. They are not random thoughts. They are seeds. Some of my most impactful breakthroughs began as quiet impressions during seasons of rest. Do not dismiss what comes gently. Anointed one. You may notice that your reactions have changed. Things that once triggered you now pass through without control. That is not numbness. That is mastery. God has been training you to lead yourself before leading outcomes. Emotional regulation is spiritual authority and practice. This is why heaven trusts you more now. You are no longer ruled by fear, approval, or urgency. You are ruled by alignment. Chosen one, as this part comes to a close, I want you to stay present with what is happening internally. Do not rush to define it. Do not seek external validation for something still forming. This is a threshold moment. The unseen work is nearly complete, and when it surfaces, it will feel natural, not shocking. That is how you will know it was divine. Stay still. Stay receptive. The next movement will not require effort, only obedience, and it will arrive right on time. There comes a point in divine alignment where heaven stops rearranging your inner world and begins adjusting your environment. This is subtle at first. It does not arrive with announcements or dramatic shifts, but with quiet repositioning. People begin to reappear differently. Situations respond to you in new ways. What once resisted you now makes room. I remember realizing this only in hindsight, noticing that obstacles stopped pushing back and instead started dissolving. That is how you know alignment has moved from preparation into activation. Anointed one, your presence now carries a different weight. You may not see it clearly yet, but others can feel it. There is less explanation in you, less proving, less urgency to be understood. That calm authority did not come from confidence training or self-improvement. It came from surrender. Heaven reshaped you in silence so that when doors open, you walk through them without shrinking or overreaching. This is how God prepares His chosen for sustainable elevation, not temporary success. Chosen. One part of this season involves learning how to receive without apology. Many people are comfortable giving but uncomfortable receiving. God has been gently correcting that imbalance in you. You were never meant to carry everything alone. When provision arrives, whether through finances, support, or opportunity, it is not charity. It is alignment, catching up with obedience. I struggled with this myself, mistaking humility for self-denial. But God taught me that refusing provision can be a form of pride disguised as independence. Anointed one, watch how your relationship with effort is changing. You are still disciplined, you still show up, but you no longer force outcomes. There is a difference between consistency and strain. Alignment replaces strain with flow. Things begin to connect without overexertion. Conversations align. Timing clicks. You are learning when to move and when to pause, and that discernment is worth more than speed. Many people burn out because they move constantly without listening. You are being trained to move only when heaven moves. Chosen one. There is also a financial wisdom forming that goes beyond income. You are becoming more discerning about where your energy goes. You no longer chase opportunities that drain you emotionally. You are learning to say no without guilt and yes without fear. This discernment protects your future. God often increases provision only after He increases clarity. Otherwise, abundance becomes another form of bondage. What you are gaining now is freedom, first, resources, second. Anointed One, do not be surprised if old patterns try to resurface briefly. Fear often makes a final attempt before losing influence. Thoughts like, "What if nothing happens?" or "What if I misheard God?" may pass through your mind. Let them pass. They are echoes, not instructions. Alignment does not remove doubt instantly, but it removes its authority. You are learning not to obey every thought. That is maturity. That is spiritual grounding. Chosen One. The people who are meant to walk with you into the next season will recognize this version of you. They will not require you to exhaust yourself to belong. They will meet you in peace. Some relationships will fade naturally without conflict. Let them. Alignment does not cling. It trusts. God is curating your environment so that what grows next is supported, not strained. That includes friendships, partnerships, and opportunities. Anointed One. I want you to notice how your prayers are changing. They are less frantic, less repetitive. You are no longer reminding God of what He already knows. You are agreeing with Him instead. That shift is powerful. Agreement is the language of alignment. When your heart and heaven speak the same rhythm, manifestation becomes inevitable. I have watched prayers answer themselves once alignment completed its work. Chosen One. This is also a season to honor rest without guilt. Rest is no longer recovery for you. It is maintenance. You are learning that peace is not something you earn after struggle. It is something you protect because it sustains clarity. God is teaching you how to live from fullness rather than exhaustion. That alone will change the way you experience success. Anointed One. As we close this part, anchor yourself in this truth. You are no longer preparing to align. You are learning how to live aligned. That is a different skill set. It requires listening, patience, and trust. The next phase will not test your strength. It will test your consistency and peace. Stay grounded. Stay aware. Because what unfolds next will not ask you to become someone new, only to remain who God has already shaped you to be. Chosen One. There is a sacred responsibility that comes with alignment, and that responsibility is stewardship. Once heaven entrusts you with peace, clarity, and provision, it invites you to protect them intentionally. This is where many people stumble, not because they are unworthy, but because they underestimate how fragile early momentum can be. I learned this when my life first began to open after a long, quiet season. The temptation was to say yes to everything to prove that the shift was real. God gently showed me that multiplication only flows where boundaries exist. Anointed One. What you are stepping into now will require discernment more than effort. Not every open door is assigned. Not every invitation is aligned. Some opportunities will look like blessings, but carry the old weight of striving. Alignment teaches you to feel the difference. Peace will be your compass. If something requires you to abandon rest, clarity, or integrity to sustain it, it is not from God, no matter how attractive it appears. Heaven does not upgrade your life only to return you to exhaustion. Chosen One. There is also a deepening humility that must accompany elevation. Not the kind that shrinks you, but the kind that keeps you teachable. Alignment does not mean you know everything. It means you know who to listen to. I have found that the higher God lifts you, the quieter his guidance often becomes. He expects you to have learned how to listen in the stillness. This is why your recent seasons trained you to pause before reacting. That skill will now protect your future. Anointed One financial increase will test your relationship with control. When resources grow, so does the illusion that you are the source. God has been careful with you because he intends to keep you free. You will notice that provision arrives with instruction, not pressure. You will sense when to save, when to give, when to wait, and when to move. Trust those impressions. Divine wisdom often speaks softly. Ignoring it does not stop provision, but it complicates it. Obedience keeps flow clean. Chosen One, this is also a season where generosity becomes natural, not forced. Not because you are trying to be spiritual, but because overflow wants to move. I remember the first time giving felt joyful instead of sacrificial. It was confirmation that fear no longer ruled my decisions. When alignment is complete, generosity is no longer an obligation. It is an expression of trust. You give because you know heaven replenishes faster than fear can calculate. Anointed One, watch how your identity stabilizes. You are no longer defined by what you lack or what you are chasing. You begin to move from sufficiency rather than scarcity. That shift affects how people treat you, how you negotiate, and how you value your time. Alignment restores dignity. You stop accepting less than you are worth because you are no longer afraid of having nothing. God often heals self-worth before increasing provision because confidence rooted in peace attracts sustainable opportunity. Chosen One, you may feel a growing desire to simplify your life. That is not regression. That is wisdom. Complexity drains alignment. God is showing you what truly matters so that what multiplies does not overwhelm you. Simplifying schedules, commitments, and even goals creates space for presence. Presence is where discernment lives. The more present you are, the more clearly you will hear when heaven nudges you forward. Anointed One. This phase may also bring moments of testing, not to fail you, but to confirm growth. Situations that once triggered old patterns may reappear briefly, giving you a chance to respond differently. When you do, you will feel it immediately. Peace will settle instead of chaos. That is how you know alignment has taken root. God allows these moments to show you who you have become. Chosen One. Stay attentive to gratitude. Gratitude anchors abundance. It keeps your heart open without becoming entitled. I have noticed that when gratitude fades, striving tries to return. But when gratitude stays present, provision flows gently. Thankfulness is not politeness. It is alignment acknowledged. It reminds your spirit where the source truly is. Anointed One, as this part closes, understand this. The shift did not happen so you could rush ahead. It happened so you could walk steadily. Stewardship is the bridge between breakthrough and longevity. You are learning how to carry blessing without losing yourself. Protect the peace you have been given. Guard the alignment you worked through in silence. What comes next will not be sustained by effort, but by the wisdom you are now equipped to live by. Chosen One, as alignment settles into your life, a new awareness begins to surface, and this awareness is responsibility without heaviness. You start to realize that what God is forming in you is not just for your relief, but for your influence. This is the stage where heaven expands your vision, not by overwhelming you, but by gently stretching your perspective. I remember the moment I understood that my breakthrough was never meant to end with me. It was meant to flow through me. That realization did not add pressure. It added meaning. Anointed one. Influence in the kingdom is quiet before it is visible. You may notice people listening to you differently now, even when you say less. Your words carry more weight because they come from lived experience, not theory. Alignment gives credibility without self-promotion. God has been shaping you in hidden places so that when others encounter you, they feel stability, not superiority. This is how spiritual authority is recognized, not demanded. Chosen one, you are also learning discernment in timing. Not every truth needs to be spoken immediately. Not every insight needs to be shared widely. Wisdom knows when to speak and when to hold. God has been teaching you restraint so that your words land where they can grow. I have learned that premature revelation can be wasted while well-timed truth can change a life. Trust that instinct in you. It is part of your preparation. Anointed one, the financial aspect of your alignment continues to mature. You may find yourself thinking differently about money, not with obsession, but with clarity. You are less reactive, less emotional, more intentional. This is evidence of healing. When finances no longer control your mood, they no longer control your decisions. God often restores emotional stability around money before increasing flow, because peace must lead provision, not follow it. Chosen one. There may be moments now where you are tempted to return to old rhythms simply because they are familiar. Familiar does not mean aligned. Growth often feels quieter than chaos, and the absence of drama can feel strange at first. Do not mistake peace for stagnation. I had to learn that calm seasons were not pauses in progress, but proof that progress had matured. Alignment does not need to announce itself daily. It simply works. Anointed one. There is also a deepening trust forming between you and God that goes beyond outcomes. You are learning to trust His character, not just His answers. That shift changes everything. When trust is rooted in who God is rather than what He does, fear loses leverage. You stop negotiating your faith based on circumstances. You remain steady regardless of what shifts around you. This steadiness is what allows heaven to move freely through your life. Chosen one, pay attention to the subtle joy returning. Not excitement, not adrenaline, but a quiet joy that sits beneath your daily life. That joy is alignment in motion. It is the fruit of no longer being at war with your own pace. I noticed this joy when I stopped measuring progress by speed and started measuring it by peace. Joy returned when striving left. That joy is sustainable, and it will anchor you during future transitions. Anointed one. You are also being prepared for greater clarity in decision-making. Choices that once felt confusing now feel simpler, not because options disappeared, but because discernment increased. Alignment sharpens intuition. You begin to sense what aligns with your values, your energy, and your calling. Trust those signals. They are not random feelings. They are the result of spiritual alignment, meeting lived experience. Chosen. One, understand that rest will remain a key part of your future, not just your past. God is not leading you into a season of constant motion. He is leading you into a rhythm of movement and stillness, action and reflection, giving and receiving. This rhythm protects longevity. Many people burn out because they mistake acceleration for growth. You are learning the difference. Anointed one, as this part draws to a close, hold on to this truth. Alignment is not something you graduate from. It is something you maintain. It requires awareness, humility, and continual listening. You are no longer being shaped only for breakthrough, but for stewardship, influence, and endurance. Stay attentive to the quiet guidance within you. Heaven is still speaking, not to rush you, but to lead you steadily into what comes next. Chosen one. There is a sacred shift that happens when alignment matures into embodiment. This is the stage where you no longer think about alignment as something you are waiting for or maintaining. It becomes how you live, how you choose, how you respond. You stop asking whether you are on the right path because peace has become your confirmation. I remember when I realized this in my own life. The anxiety that once accompanied decisions had quietly disappeared, replaced by a steady knowing that I was being led, even when I could not see the full picture. Anointed One embodiment changes how you walk through uncertainty. You no longer need constant reassurance or visible signs to stay grounded. Faith becomes less about belief and more about familiarity. You recognize God's presence not only in answered prayers, but in how your nervous system remains calm when circumstances are unresolved. That calm is not passivity. It is strength that has learned to trust timing. This is the kind of faith that moves quietly but changes everything. Chosen one. At this stage, you may notice that external validation matters less to you. You're no longer driven by the need to be seen, understood, or approved. That does not make you indifferent. It makes you anchored. When your identity is rooted in alignment, you do not look outward to confirm your worth. You move with a quiet confidence that does not announce itself. This is often when influence deepens because people sense authenticity without effort. Anointed One. There is also a refinement happening in how you handle opposition. Not everyone will understand your stillness, your boundaries, or your refusal to rush. Some may interpret it as disengagement. Let them. Alignment does not require explanation. I learned that explaining myself too much was a sign that I did not yet trust my own obedience. When God anchors you internally, you stop defending your pace. You let your fruit speak. Chosen one. This is also a season where discernment becomes relational. You sense when to lean in and when to step back. You no longer overextend yourself to maintain connections that drain you. At the same time, you become more present and generous in relationships that are reciprocal and life-giving. Alignment teaches you that love does not require self-abandonment. Healthy connection flows naturally when your inner world is stable. Anointed One, you may notice that your tolerance for chaos has decreased. This is not weakness, it is refinement. Your spirit now recognizes when environments, conversations, or habits disrupt your peace. That awareness is a gift. God is teaching you how to guard what He restored. I remember thinking something was wrong with me because I could no longer thrive in noise. Later, I realized I was simply no longer designed for it. Growth changes what you can tolerate. Chosen one, the financial flow connected to this stage often becomes quieter but more consistent. Instead of dramatic swings, there is steadiness. Instead of urgency, there is planning. You begin to operate from wisdom rather than reaction. Money becomes a tool, not a measure of security. This shift allows provision to remain clean and sustainable. God is less interested in impressing you with sudden windfalls than He is in building a life that can hold blessing long term. Anointed One. There is also a spiritual maturity forming that allows you to wait without tension. Waiting no longer feels like being stuck. It feels like being attentive. You understand that some things unfold only when the environment is ready, not just when you are. That patience is not passive, it is deeply active trust. I have seen doors open at the exact moment when rushing would have ruined them. Alignment teaches you to respect timing as much as opportunity. Chosen one, as embodiment deepens, gratitude becomes your natural response. Not forced gratitude, but awareness of how far you have come. You remember the anxiety, the striving, the uncertainty, and you recognize the contrast. Gratitude keeps you humble without diminishing your growth. It reminds you that everything unfolding now was shaped in silence long before it appeared. Anointed One. As we close this part, understand that you are no longer standing on the edge of alignment. You are walking inside it. The next movements in your life will not feel dramatic, but they will be decisive. Small choices will carry large impact. Stay present. Stay grounded. Stay responsive to the quiet guidance within you. What is being built now is not just a season, but a way of living that will carry you forward with peace, clarity, and quiet strength. Chosen One. This final stage is not about anticipation anymore. It is about arrival without spectacle. What God has been forming through alignment now settles into certainty. You no longer ask if something is coming because you can feel that it already has, just not loudly. The shift does not crash into your life. It integrates. It becomes visible through consistency, peace, and quiet authority. I remember expecting my breakthrough to feel overwhelming, only to realize it felt grounding instead. That is how you know it is real. Anointed One, you are now living in the evidence of what was once invisible. The habits you built in silence are sustaining you. The boundaries you learned to honor are protecting you. The discernment you practiced is guiding your steps. Nothing about this season requires you to prove anything. Your life speaks for itself now. The chaos that once followed you has lost its grip, not because circumstances are perfect, but because you are no longer internally divided. Alignment unified you, Chosen One. The divine transfer you sensed earlier is no longer theoretical, it is operational. You may notice provision flowing more naturally, opportunities aligning with less resistance, and decisions resolving themselves without force. This is what happens when heaven and earth agree. You stopped fighting timing, and timing began working for you. I have learned that when God releases something fully, it no longer needs constant prayer to sustain it. It stabilizes. It rests. Anointed One, there is also a clarity now about what your role truly is. You are not here to chase everything. You are here to steward what aligns. That clarity removes anxiety. It narrows focus. It gives you permission to let go of paths that were never yours to walk. Alignment teaches you that saying no is often the most faithful act. God trusts you with clarity because you learn to wait without resentment. Chosen One. This stage carries a different kind of humility. Not the humility of smallness, but the humility of understanding the process. You know now that nothing good is rushed. You respect the unseen work because you lived inside it. That awareness makes you patient with others and gentle with yourself. You stop measuring success by speed and start measuring it by sustainability. This wisdom will keep you steady long after this season passes. Anointed One. You may find yourself reflecting on who you used to be. The version of you that worried constantly, overextended, overgave, and tried to earn rest. There is compassion now, not shame. Alignment healed you without erasing your history. Your story still matters, but it no longer controls you. God did not waste your struggle. He refined it, and now your testimony lives quietly in how you show up every day. Chosen One. There is also a responsibility to remain connected to the source. Alignment does not mean independence from God. It means deeper dependence without fear. Your prayer life may feel simpler now, more conversational, less urgent. That is maturity. You trust God's presence, even when you are not asking for anything. That relationship will anchor you through future changes, because alignment is ongoing, not a one-time event. Anointed One, as life continues to unfold, remember this rhythm you learned. Rest before movement. Listen before action. Peace before expansion. These principles will guide every next level. You will face new challenges, but you will not face them as the person you once were. You are grounded now. You are clear. You are steady. That is the fruit of alignment done well. Chosen One. This is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a new way of walking, one where effort is replaced by agreement and striving is replaced by trust. Carry this awareness with you. Protect it. Live from it. Because what God aligned in silence is now established in strength, and it will continue to unfold with grace, clarity, and purpose far beyond this moment. Chosen One, as this message comes to rest, know that nothing you have received today was symbolic or distant. This was a moment of alignment, a holy intersection where heaven confirmed what has been quietly unfolding in your life. The stillness you've been walking through was not empty, it was sacred. And now you stand in your Kairos moment, the precise time where preparation gives way to manifestation. A supernatural transfer is already in motion, and you are positioned to receive it with clarity, peace, and strength. Anointed One, let your heart remain steady. Stay faithful to the rhythm God has taught you. Do not rush ahead of the grace that is carrying you. What is forming now will arrive without striving, without fear, and without confusion. You are not early, you are not late, you are exactly on time. Blessings are aligning, doors are responding, and favor is locating you even now. May your spirit stay sensitive, your mind stay clear, and your path stay illuminated. May you walk forward with gratitude, recognizing that what is coming was shaped in silence and secured in trust. Carry this alignment with reverence. Protect it. Live from it. And when the fruit appears, remember the season that prepared you to hold it well. If this word settled deeply in your spirit, you may mark this moment gently with a quiet declaration of faith, a word of agreement, or a simple act of gratitude. And if you feel led, remain connected, because the journey does not end here. What God has begun, He is faithful to complete. Go now in peace, Chosen One. Rest confidently. Rise wisely. Your season has turned, and what unfolds next will confirm everything heaven has already spoken over your life.